Hi there, and welcome to the Everything Accordion Podcast, a podcast where we dive deep into the world of the accordion, its music, its history, and the people who bring it to life. I am your host, Ghenadie Rotari. On this show, you will hear inspiring interviews and conversations with musicians, composers, educators from all over the world. Whether you're passionate about the accordion or are just curious to know more about this amazing instrument, you're in the right place. So make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell. You can also support the podcast on Patreon, as well as join the Discord community or share these episodes with your friends. Before we dive into today's episode, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you're informed and notified when a new episode comes out. Please review and rate the podcast wherever you're listening to it, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever platform you're listening on. And this show is also available on YouTube as video. It is a pleasure for me to have you on this journey. Without further ado, let's jump into today's episode. Hi, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Everything Accordion Podcast. Today we're doing it live, and I'm really excited to have as a guest Fanny Mas, that has accepted to be on the podcast. She's a colleague of mine in Vorarlberg. She's an accordionist, a teacher, also I can say a pedagogical thinker and innovator. And today we're here to get to know you a bit better, Fanny. So welcome to the podcast. And to kick things off, do you remember when was the first time that you heard or when you touched an accordion?
Touched, I'm not sure, but heard. I was 4 or 5 years old, and my parents always put a CD to go to bed, and I always wanted to have the CD with the accordion on it.
Okay.
I don't know why. And then my mother said, "Do you want to play an instrument?" And then I said, "Accordion." Okay, and she said, "Okay," and then I had a wonderful teacher for 12 years, a very, very good teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very grateful, and now I'm here.
Great.
Without her, I wouldn't be here, and that's why teachers are so important.
Absolutely, and that's something we will be talking about. And you are originally from France.
Yes.
And as we know, accordion is a big part of the French culture. Is it something that, you had prevalent and saw often people playing the instrument, or was it just something about the sound that made you really want it?
Honestly, I don't remember.
Good answer.
It was this CD that I wanted to hear all the time, but I don't know which one now. And no, I think it was only this CD, and then I got to this teacher, and she wasn't so much on folklore music, not really. It was immediately classical accordion.
Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting. And afterwards, you start studying the instrument, and you went on to your more academic studies. If I remember correctly, you went to study in Trossingen, not Trossingen Honor Academy, but the Hochschule, and you are still teaching there at the moment. And did you know that that was something that inspired you and you wanted to do in your life, or you just gradually transformed into being inspired by the teacher and then becoming a teacher?
Difficult question. I think I always loved to teach, but I didn't know it. I have a little sister. My aunt is a teacher. My mother is not a teacher, but she teaches very well.
Okay.
And I think it was in my education to teach, yes. And I always knew that accordion teaching was something for me. And I never thought, I only want to play. No. And then in this study in Trossingen, You have a lesson with Hans Meyer, or I had lesson with Hans Meyer, and then you have a pedagogic lesson with Friedemann Giesinger, and it was really, really interesting and
Inspiring.
inspiring. Inspiring. Thank you. And I learned so much. And and also because I also studied the flute in Trossingen, and I had the chance to have a wonderful teacher for flute pedagogic in Trossingen too. And she and Friedemann Giesinger, they taught me to teach with love. And to love your teaching. And it was really, really good.
Yeah, I think that's one of those phrases that should be said more often. Teach with love. Also, because I have a feeling that at least in the system of higher education, like music conservatories, music academies, it is very often this idea of you have to strive to be a soloist, you have to strive to be a concert performer. For example, here in the Western cultures, I see, especially like Germany, Austria, I see a big differentiation between künstlerisch Fach, so artistic section or artistic part, and pädagogisch. I really love the system that we did in Helsinki, in Finland, for example, because they do both at the same time. So as long as you're doing bachelor, at one point you're also teaching and having the practice of teaching. I remember when I was in Munich, I wanted to go onwards, maybe to do a master's degree in pedagogics. And I applied, and they told me, you don't have a bachelor's degree, you have to start from bachelor's and then do a master's degree in pedagogics. And I was already at my second master's degree. And to me, it seemed kind of redundant that they need to start all over again. Not to say that there's a lot of specific things that one needs to learn in order to be able to teach, but at the same time, one also needs to know how to master the instrument in order to be able to teach something. What are your views about this kind of duality between, because you said something very interesting. You said, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. Because many times I think, like with most people, I always saw myself as both at the same time. Sometimes teaching took over, sometimes playing took over, but I always saw myself as both. And many colleagues with whom I talk to, they only focus on becoming performers 100%, and they view teaching almost as a failure in their career. What are your thoughts on this?
I find it very sad, but I don't want to judge, because if you don't want to teach, if you don't like to teach, then don't teach. It's okay. It's okay. But sometimes I think maybe we don't have or these persons, maybe they don't have the idea that teaching is also very creative. You have to be creative to teach this kid like this and this kid like he needs, and it's very, and even we all know the children, they don't practice not all the children, the students are practicing like we would want to, but even for those who don't practice, and they say, I don't practice, but you can be creative and try to make from this 30 minutes contact with the music. Teaching is not about make all the children become professional musicians. What is it about? I think it's about make a contact between the kids, the children. I said the kids, also the adults, but let's say the kids, between kids and music, between kids and art. and you could be so creative with it. And of course, a part of your teaching is your artist identity. That doesn't leave you. It stays with you in the teaching room. But you can also try to develop your teaching skills like you developed in your study or after your artist skills. And it's also very creative.
Absolutely, yeah, because I think many times teaching is seen like this thing that, okay, I need to go there, I need to sit there, I could be doing something better with my time, but I have this kids that come to me and maybe they didn't practice, maybe they did, and we just sit there, we look at each other and try to do something. But you're absolutely right. And also, like, for my teaching, I noticed that it's many times it's not about me. Well, it's never about me as a teacher. It's always about the pupil that I have in front of myself. And as soon as I kind of get out of my own way in that regard, I can be of service to the pupil and give the pupil what they need and what they require of me, basically. How do you see your role? Because I really love this thing that you said also about it's not about becoming professional musicians, it's about connecting them with something beautiful, with a form of art, and exposing them to that, especially nowadays where everyone is trying to grab for your attention, screen, social media, and so on and so on. And why do you think it is still important for kids or also adults to go to learn music and to learn a musical instrument?
Oh, we have 3 hours.
2.5 sure.
No, but you said it. First, this call of attention, I really try, because there is a lot of apps that you can use in music lesson. But I try as good as I can to be without screen these 30 minutes. I think it's okay. And I try to connect, to be human, to be with the kids. And there is this connection to art, of course. And then there is this big thing that when you learn an instrument, you learned about you. You learned about self-discipline. And okay, if you play this instrument only 1 year, it's not so much self-discipline, but it's a begin. And if you play 5 years, if you have a kid in your teaching room for 5 years, okay, it won't be a professional accordionist, but this kid has learned something with you that couldn't have been possible in the school with 30 kids all around, and also not possible in football. It's football, and sport is amazing. You have to do it, but it's another skill.
Absolutely.
And maybe because I have moments where I'm not so motivated to go to teach. When you I'm human. When you see this kid didn't practice for the 3rd week, and it's the same amount of errors. I say to myself, okay, but what is it good that this kid is here? And then we try to, and I try to focus on this skill or relationship with the art and music. And look, you can only think about this kid. It will maybe stopped, but it's the public of tomorrow in the concerts.
Absolutely.
Halls. Only this.
Yeah, no, I think it's very important also, like for my teaching, I noticed that we are, well, not giving, it's not the right word, but we are kind of transferring a certain set of skills that you learn. As you say, sports are amazing and kids have a lot of energy and they should do a sport or something because developing the body as well as the mind and lots of other skills. But for example, if I think about football, right? In football, of course, besides all the technique, coordination, and so on, you learn to work with one another as a team.
Yes.
As an accordionist or a pianist, for string instruments, maybe it's a bit different because they play in orchestras, in quartets. They would very often require someone to accompany them on the piano or another instrument. But instruments like accordion and piano, for example, it has a lot to do with almost working on yourself and on your own character and on your own skills. And as a kid, of course, that's the last thing you want to do. But at the same time, I believe I noticed through my teaching years here in Austria and in Switzerland that I try to transfer also the skills of perspective. So looking at a measure, a bar, a problematic place in different ways, how to solve this. Having a system, building discipline. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But most of the times, if a pupil learns the discipline and whatever happens, they do that, they develop that skill, and also patience. Lots of patience, because in the world of also on our side as teachers, because in the world of okay, I'm bored, I'm impatient, okay, the next thing comes and I'm excited about the next thing. Something I notice with my pupils sometimes, we're like, are we going to learn a new piece? I'm like, no, we still didn't finish this one. They're like, oh, but we were playing it for like 3 weeks. I'm like, exactly. We need to go to the end.
Yes.
And that's a skill that is probably disappearing simply because, it has become, okay, I'm bored with something, I take out my phone or I take out the screen. And yeah, I believe that there are a lot of, besides of playing an instrument, playing music, which is amazing by itself, but it also develops character, develops personality, develops a lot of things. So I believe that music education is important. And I will ask you about being creative in your classroom, how you do that. And also, I love what you say about apps, because I've attended many workshops about apps. I'm a firm believer that until, I don't know, 14, 16 maybe years old, as less screen time as possible, because it's very addictive, and all of these companies have the best psychologists and addictive behavioral scientists working for them to make it as addictive as possible. And the willpower will simply not help there. It's either no screens or somehow you will get sucked into this. So let's start with how is one creative in their own class? We're on Everything Accordion Podcast. Let's talk about accordion. How can you get creative in your class?
Well, I think I have two sources of inspiration here, and maybe it's not fair for me to to reveal them, because not all the teachers have these sources of inspiration. But maybe I will say them, and then maybe each one can think about what are my inspirations sources. Well, I said I studied the flute, and it's a lot easier to teach flute than accordion. First of all, there is more demand, more kids, they want to play the flute. So I had, this is my second instrument, but I had a lot of teaching experiences faster than with the accordion, because there is a lot of kids. And it's an instrument completely different in the teaching and in the playing, of course, than the accordion. And so I had all these books, these methods, flute books and flute method, and they are bright and colorful, and and then I get in the teaching room for accordion, and then it's a little bit, it's not, accordion is not so old with the flutes, and so it wasn't so developed. And then I tried to mix, or to take what I tried to take what was good about the flute to the accordion. It was my first sources of inspiration. The second one was that I enjoyed myself in the study in Trossingen, because I was playing too much, practicing too much without sport, and so on. So, and then I found for myself yoga and movement from the body, and also when you play the flute, the body is so important. From the feet to the breath, and all the body is important. And in the when you play accordion, it should be so important, but it's not so important in the teaching, I think. And then I was teaching 1 hour flute and speaking about the body and doing exercise, and you can put the flute away like this, and you might make an exercise and then put the flute back, and it's great. And then I was teaching accordion, and then I had empathy for the kid and I didn't want to put the accordion away, because then you have to put the accordion back. It's heavy, and you sit 30 minutes, you don't move, and then I wanted to mix the both, because I thought, okay, I enjoyed myself. What can I do that my students will not enjoy themselves? So, and then I mixed movement and accordion. And so I try as often as I can to take the instrument away from kids, and then move and then back, and then move and then back. But my job is to teach accordion, not to teach yoga. So I try to teach accordion as often as I can, or what I can teach without the instrument. Then I take the instrument away, and when we teach it, I teach it with the body, with movements, body percussion. And yeah, we will talk about it later. But yeah, that's what the second. And the third inspiration source is that then I got the job in Trossingen as the pedagogy teacher. And then suddenly I had to teach about my teaching, or to speak about my teaching. And then I wanted to be as bright as to give as many tools as I could to the students. And then I searched more tools. And then I see now my teaching with kids is a little bit my laboratory. To teach the students in the Hochschule.
Okay. Yeah, it's very interesting also, because when you're forced, quote unquote, to teach the way you do something, it makes you really question and sit down and think, how am I actually doing that? Like, what am I doing?
How and why?
Exactly.
Yeah.
How and why. Also, I noticed with teaching accordion that in order to explain how to put your fingers on the keys, I had to think about my own way, something that, as a performer, if you stop to think about that, I mean, there's not enough time and there's no real point. Well, it's already kind of integrated into your body and into your toolkit of movements. And this is something that I remember we had Belma Sarancic on the podcast from Bosnia, and she also did Alexander technique. And she was saying about this with the instrument. That's what, when you were talking about it, I remember that in order to like put down the instrument, take it up, it's so heavy on the spine and everything. And but in a way, we have to do it anyway, because the instrument is what it is. It's either you change instrument and you play something much lighter, like a flute, which makes sense, maybe in the next life. But also it's kind of a part of, being an accordionist. And I really I've seen in the past years, especially, for example, when looking for a job, there were a lot of requirements for music and movement education.
Yeah.
And I thought that it was some sort of maybe a new movement in pedagogics, and maybe you can tell us more about this. But I believe that's kind of the naturally where you went to with the movement of, okay, now you play and now you stand up and now you move, because the body needs to be kind of free and not fixed in one position. obviously movement plays a big role in your lessons. And how do you see like the role of movement, let's say for accordion? How do you apply the movement in your lessons, which is, and we'll talk about this also, half an hour lessons. It's really not a lot of time to do all of that thing. I remember when I was young, I had 1 hour lessons once, maybe twice per week, and then also theory, and then also orchestra, but that's another thing. How long were your lessons when you were young?
At the beginning, when I was 5, it was 30 minutes.
30 minutes,
But
okay.
then it's in the French system, it grows or it becomes longer automatically.
Okay.
You don't have to ask for it. Here in Austria, you have to ask for it, but it's okay. So today I say 30 minutes, but I have also students, they have 45 minutes or 1 hour. But mostly is 30 minutes.
Yeah. That's something that I noticed. I also kind of said that, okay, let's start with half an hour, especially for small kids. Okay, but I kind of noticed that it doesn't really have to do anything with age. It also has to do a lot with sort of expectations of the time, because if also the kid, if they know that they have an hour, they will be there for 1 hour. Indifferently if it's like, okay, half an hour, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, they're not that strict, and it's also, once you get used to half an hour, then it's very difficult. Even like 10 minutes more, it seems like a lot. And when you start with a bit more, and then just, below seems really less. I always give this example of I was doing swimming for a very long time, and the swimming pool are normally 50 or 25 meters. So I was swimming 25 meters when I started doing water polo in a team, and we were practicing in a swimming pool which was 5 meters shorter. It was 20 by 30 meters long. And after finishing it, and also now I notice when I'm swimming in 25 meters long swimming pools, I stop 5 meters before.
Okay.
Always, like automatically, my body says, "Okay, you're done. You're here."
Yeah.
So it really has a lot to do with being used to it. Of course, there's the financial side. Sometimes the lessons are too expensive, and that's understandable. But if we look at the perspective of also, like, two things that kind of trigger me in lessons is when parents talk about motivation and when they talk about focus, but it's too much time for the kid to focus.
The practice, you mean, or the
just
length of the...
exactly. So just like being focused in the lesson, because we're like, okay, half an hour is already too much. Well, focus is not something that you have or you don't have. Focus is something you train. And I believe if it's also with us adults, we just sit there, and if we don't have distractions and we focus on something, then we can actually focus on that. If we train our brains every 10 seconds to see a new input, a new video, a new something, then of course focusing for more than 10 minutes is a big ask. And that's also where music comes into it, because you sit there and you work on that, and just like that 1 hour is already gone. So I noticed that some kids are there and like, oh, it's already done.
Yes.
And it's 60 minutes.
Yeah.
They're like, already.
Yeah.
And other kids that are like 10 minutes there and are already starting to look at the watch. And you can kind of understand who has this inputs from outside and who is actually not on screen time in a way. So yeah. What is, how did you find, you said that, the importance of movement for accordion and accordion class?
Yeah, I said I wanted to, first of all, it came because I wanted to protect the kid that, you don't know, maybe this kid is now 5 years old, but it will play his whole life as an amateur, or he will study, you don't know it. So you have to protect them and to give all the tools that you can, that they won't be injured if they want to play a lot. And it was my first motivation. But then I noticed that it's fun for the kids to put the instrument away and to do something with the body. They are loving it, most of them. I don't force it, yeah. But if I see that it's not okay, I don't do it. But most of them, they are loving it, and then you get another 5 minutes or another 5 minutes of focused time just because you change the activity, and then I know what I'm doing. I don't do. I'm not doing an exercise just to move the body or just to make the 5 minutes go faster. No, I do the exercise because I want to teach accordion. So I do an exercise with rhythm, with notes, reading or writing, and then I also noticed that a big problem from accordion teaching or accordion learning is the orientation on the keyboard. Then I try to think, okay, how can I make the orientation on the keyboard with the body? How can I make it more efficient? Or how can the kids learn the orientation faster and not ask each week, Fanny, I couldn't practice because I didn't know anymore where was the
button. Yeah. That's something that I hear also very often. Yes.
Of course, we all write it somewhere. You are writing, okay, the F note is here, but they won't open the book or they won't open Google. So I wanted to escape to not hear anymore these words. I didn't know. I couldn't practice because I didn't know where was the note, and I wanted to bring it to teach where is the note in these 30 minutes, and it stays.
Yes.
I wanted to find the way to teach that they couldn't say this words
Anymore. Yeah.
And I said, okay, I will do it with the body, and then we developed tools that we can show later.
Absolutely.
And that's what I meant with creativity. When I have a problem when I'm teaching, okay, there is two solutions. I can say, okay, didn't practice enough, not my problem. Practice 1 week more, and it will be okay. And or I say, okay, didn't practice enough, but what can I do? Now, what can I do that without this practice time, it's the kid is learning anyway. For me, maybe it's a little bit egoistic because I don't want to. Yeah, I want to go forward.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's egoistic. It's I think intelligent time management. Also, because like sometimes when I felt frustrated, because that's something that we don't normally don't talk about, because teaching should be fun, or we should all. But let's face it, we're all human beings. Sometimes it is frustrating that you're just sitting there for like 2 months and no progress was done. And at the same time, you're like, okay, I'm already here. Let's do something, and maybe through this something, you will learn something, hopefully. I remember I did this pedagogic certificate in Italy when it came out for, I think it was for being able to apply for teaching positions at state music schools. And one of the phrases that I had a really great teacher, and one of the phrases that she said was, never confuse with what you give to the pupils with what they learn. Because you can say the same phrase to 5 different people, they will take from that phrase something completely different, and you cannot control you can control what you say and what you do. You cannot control what they learn or what they absorb. And I think that's maybe some of the most frustrating things, until you realize, my job is to give you that knowledge and try to give you different ways of understanding it. And then it's your job to assimilate or learn it in some way if you want to learn it, of course. So I think it's as soon as one understands, okay, these people, it's not personal that they don't practice. It's simply that it's not there.
Exactly.
But of course, I realize and I understand. I really love a lot this idea. But you said, okay, let me think about how can we learn also from movement without the instrument, having analogies or having extra instruments. And that's when you developed something which I would really love to talk about, and then we will show it. The music mat. Can you explain a bit and present a bit the basic idea behind the music mat?
The basic idea was I'm teaching the flute and my husband is teaching the clarinet. And here in Austria, you have these exams all over the world, but and we have to prepare the kids to manage these exams, and they have to play pieces, cool pieces. They have to play studies, the etudes. They are also cool if you
know how to find them. Yes.
And they have to play scales. And we were struggling to make them practice the scales. So, and we were each evening, they didn't practice the scales. What can I do? And movement and not only practice the scale, but also remember which scale has which.
Just the signs, the sharp,
sharp
and the flat, the flat sides.
So to remember, and also you can say, you didn't practice enough. Go practice again and come later, and you will know what the signs are. Or you choose the second one and you think about, okay, without practicing, how can I teach in a good way that they won't forget it anymore? So, and then there is this the circle of the fifth, and then we with movement and so on, and then we developed together the first mat for all the instruments and the theory courses. Then we can show later. So that was the first idea, and then I went to Trossingen and I teach pedagogy and so on. And then there was a kid, Peter. He had to play C and G. And the next bar, C sharp and G sharp. So, and we are playing the T system. So
the C-grip system. Yeah.
So, if for those who know, it's the same. It is the same position of the finger, but only one button
further fire. Yeah.
Thank you, Ghenadie. He wasn't jumping with the finger. Each time he was searching for the C sharp and the G sharp, and we told him, you don't have to search. You can spring with jump. So you can jump with the finger. But saying wasn't enough. He didn't get what we were talking about with the students. I mean. Because I'm teaching pedagogy, but a student is teaching a kid. So we are. And then on the way back to Bregenz, I thought, okay, what is the solution? Saying is not enough. So we want to learn it through the body. I want to teach this kid this jumping effect through the body. And so I thought, okay, I need a mat where all the buttons are on it. And he jumped from C, G to C sharp, G sharp. G sharp, sorry. And okay, it took a few weeks to produce. And then I brought this mat to the kid, and I said, okay, where are C and G here? Where are C sharp and G sharp here? And then how do you go from there to there? And he jumped without saying anything. He jumped. It was obvious. He jumped.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And I thought about filming, and I'm grateful that I did, because you hear in this first video where he's jumping for the first time, you hear how he's saying, aha. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, what can I do with this mat? Now I have the mat, and you can do so much. You can train the scales, practice the scales, walk on the scales. You can play. You can play, or let the kids play. You say there is 2 kids in the lesson, and you say, okay, you say a note, and she or he has to to jump. Sorry,
Spring is also fun.
okay, to jump as fast as possible on the note, and you are checking if it's okay or not, and then you can for 5 minutes sit back and let the kids learn and enjoy.
Amazing.
And it's great.
Wow.
A lot of possibilities.
Yeah. Now, I would be really curious. We're glad that you have here the mats. And great. So this is the music mat for accordion learning. Great. So now let's see how it works.
We decide for the first product, we decided to only put the 3 first rows, because in order to play the accordion, first of all, because there is some kids who only have these 3, not 4th and 5th. And we wanted that the fit is really on the note, that when you are working on it, it's not 2 notes or to be like this. We really wanted that you could stand on it. That's why for the first product we have only the 3 of them, but we are developing 2 more mats with one with 2 more, and another mat for standard bass. So, but that's not, it's chromatic accordion, and with 3 rows and C system. So you have the T here, and here the F, or the T here and here the F. You can do as you want.
Okay.
So, and yeah, the kids are loving it, because they can really jump on it, or really, yeah, I cannot demonstrate it, but to really run or walk on it. It's really, you can also put things on it to mark. For example, you are learning a new pieces and you want to have a little bit movement before the playing is beginning, and then you can mark with objects. You can mark. You can mark where are the notes for the piece. That the kids are really seeing. Okay, I need really only these 5 notes or 6 notes, and where are they? And in the 2 minutes where you are speaking about it, you don't have the instrument on you, and you can really move and feel and see the relationship between the notes. I think we wrote on the homepage, if you want another grief system, then just write us an email, because it's really not so difficult. But I teach the C system, then I did the C system, but it's not so difficult.
Perfect.
So, and that's now the circle of 5th. As you see, there are all the tonalities. Here is C. You have the major one and the minor one, and then the signs and so on. So the kids are walking on them, and they feel with the body, okay, C major is a neighbor of F major or of G major. So in one piece of, let's say, Mozart, then you can easily teach the kids, okay, Mozart would like to have C major or A minor right next to G major. Yeah, Mozart wouldn't, most of the time, wouldn't make a jump from here to there. to there. So that's the first way of understanding the music, a certain type of music, of course, but understanding the relationships between the tonalities, because with the body. So then we wrote some rhythms on the middle, and you can play one scale with each rhythm. So, and then go back. So, and then we developed the cards, and then you have the green one, red ones, and blue ones. And when you are a teacher and you know, okay, this student can only play, that's not possible for my students, for example, then I take it away. And then the kids are taking one red one. For example, not this one. Not happy about it. But let's say okay. And then they have first of all, they have to understand which key is that, because it's not written. So they can think about what could it be, or read it on the mat. Then they are taking a rhythm. These two, as a red was this one, and green is this one, for example. And they could play like this, first of all, then with a foot on this one, a foot on this one. Okay. And you have both, and you can play your scale here with the flute or the clarinet or the violin, not with the accordion, but I will speak about it later. And then you can give a blue one, and blue one are the play parameters, the articulation or the nuances. Yes, and so they can practice with fun, and if you have a group teaching, then it's great too, because you can sit back and relax. And they are having fun, and they are really learning. And we have the jokers. Let me find a joker.
This would be perfect for someone with Musikgrundschule.
Yeah.
So the elementary school music education.
We have the colorful, the color jokers, jokers with color. That's the joker for the kid. Then the kid can decide which key or which rhythm. Okay. But there is also the black one, the black joker. Then the teacher can decide. That's great. Yes, and for the accordionist, of course, you can play. It's not so good for accordionist, but I try to teach bass notes from the standard bass system. Yeah. I tried to teach it like with the mat, because that's it's built in the fifth circle of fifths. So I said, okay, to understand or to memorize how are the notes on the left hand when I teach standard bass. Then I said, okay, we are working on the mat and seeing only the first one, the white one, C, G, D, A, and so on, a few times. And then we play on the accordion the same. Okay. And the kids are understanding themselves. They understand themselves how it works. Yes. Perfect. Thank you very much for this demonstration. All fascinating things. Fanny, where can people find these music mats? We have the website. It's www.music.point. I think maybe you can link. Yes, I will link everything in the description of the episode. Also, because I remember when you followed me on Instagram with a music mat, it was musicm.at, and I was like, music M. AT is Austria for sure. Yes. But then you said it's music mat. Makes sense. Yeah. Now it makes sense. Great. And where can people find out more about you? I have my homepage. It's ipaya.eu.
Mhm.
You can link it below. Link it if you want to. And we
I
have
will,
this,
definitely.
thank you. And we have this. We started Instagram with MusicNet.
Okay. Mhm.
So because we noticed it's great to speak about our maths, but it's better to see how
Mhm.
the kids are really learning with it. So Instagram is a good way to post
Mhm.
videos.
Mhm. And just to round up our conversations in the realm of teaching music and pedagogics, in this case accordion, but not only, what would be your kind of, let's say, advice to teachers to enjoy doing it more?
I think if you are, don't force yourself. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But if you have to do it, and maybe you like it a little bit, then try to be as creative in your teaching that you are in your playing, and to see it as a way to develop yourself. As you said, you have to, if you want to teach, you have to think about, why am I doing this like I am doing this? Is it the right way? How? And it's amazing to learn about yourself. So try to find, for me, it was the movement, but maybe it's improvisation, maybe it's composition. Try to find what you love in life and to bring it in your teaching, because the kids or all the students will be grateful to learn it with the passion that you have. And maybe it's only arts, maybe it's only interpretation and it's wonderful, but maybe you like improvisation or composition, and then try to make your teaching unique. It's your way to teach. And if you are applying in music school, that's also really important, that you, when you apply in the music school and you are invited to show your teaching, show why is your teaching unique. Yes.
So don't try to kind of resemble and think what they want to see and hear.
Yeah.
Just be yourself and do the best you can to show your way of. So, beautiful thoughts, Fanny. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ghenadie.
Thank you also for your hospitality and for filming this in your beautiful home.
Thank you.
And I'm really looking forward to our other chats and seeing how your practice
too.
of teaching
Me
develops.
too, Ghenadie.
Thank you, Fanny.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Everything Accordion Podcast. I hope you found the stories and the insights in this episode as interesting as I did. If you liked what you heard, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, rate and review the podcast on the platform where you're listening. You can also join the Discord community as well as support the podcast on Patreon. Thanks again for being here, and see you in the next episode.